The quantum sensors aboard the International Space Station weren't supposed to detect anything unusual that day. Dr. Sarah Chen had developed them to study dark matter, not to make first contact with an alien civilization. But as she stared at the readings flooding her holographic display, her hands trembling slightly, she knew humanity would never be the same. "Control, this is ISS Science Lab." She managed to keep her voice steady. "We're detecting something. Multiple objects decelerating from FTL speeds at the edge of our solar system." The response took longer than usual. "ISS, please verify. Did you say FTL speeds?" Before Sarah could respond, the objects appeared on conventional radar. Dozens of them, massive ships arranged in a perfect geometric formation that spoke of intelligence and purpose. They were heading straight for Earth. Within hours, the United Earth Defense Council convened in their underground chamber beneath Geneva. Sarah's discovery had triggered protocols that military strategists had prepared but hoped never to use. General Maya Santos, director of Earth's combined defense forces, stood before the assembled leaders of humanity's unified government. "The vessels are approximately 300 kilometers from lunar orbit," she reported, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic display of the alien fleet. "They haven't responded to any attempts at communication, but they've made no aggressive moves either. They're just waiting." Chancellor Wei of the Council leaned forward. "Do we have any defensive options?" "Limited," Maya admitted. "Our quantum shield network is operational, but untested against this level of technology. Our fleet is scattered across the solar system, and we have no idea of their capabilities." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had unified after the climate wars, pushing into space with unprecedented cooperation and technological advancement. But they were still children compared to a civilization capable of casual FTL travel. The aliens chose that moment to make contact. The chamber's holographic systems activated without anyone's input, displaying a being that seemed to be made of living crystal and light. Its voice resonated directly in their minds, a translation interface more advanced than anything human technology could achieve. "We are the consensus of elder races," the being announced. "We have watched your species' development with growing concern. Your technological progression is dangerously accelerated. Your military applications of quantum mechanics show a disturbing lack of restraint." Chancellor Wei stood, his face composed. "We are the United Earth Council. We seek peaceful." "Peace is precisely our concern," the crystalline being interrupted. "Your species advances without wisdom. You build weapons before you understand their consequences. You push into space before you have learned to properly care for your own world." "We have unified our planet," Maya countered. "We've reversed climate change, eliminated poverty. After nearly destroying yourselves, the alien's tone carried what might have been contempt. You will submit to oversight. Your military facilities will be dismantled. Your quantum research will cease. You will accept guidance from more mature species until you prove yourselves worthy of independence." The council chamber erupted in protests, but Sarah Chen's voice cut through the chaos. She had been summoned from the ISS to brief the council, and now she stood, her scientist's mind racing with implications. "You fear us," she said simply. The crystalline being's form flickered. "Your kind is dangerous." "Not because we're violent," Sarah continued, understanding flooding her, "but because we're fast. We solve problems you haven't faced in millennia. We innovate while you stagnate." "You will comply," the alien demanded, but there was something new in its tone. Uncertainty. Fear. "You have 30 Earth days to begin the dismantling process. After that, we will enforce compliance." The transmission cut off abruptly. Chancellor Wei turned to General Santos. "Options." Maya's face was grim but determined. "We've been developing something. A merger of quantum computing and human consciousness. Project Echo. It's theoretical, dangerous, but it might be our only chance." Sarah stepped forward. "My quantum sensors. They could be adapted, integrated into the project. If we could merge human intuition with quantum processing. Chancellor Wei looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of each council member. They had 30 days to develop something that could stand against a galactic civilization. But as he saw the determination, the creativity, the sheer human stubbornness in those faces, he felt something else too. Hope. Begin immediately, he ordered, and send word to every lab, every factory, every shipyard in the system. We didn't unite Earth, solve climate change, and reach for the stars just to become someone else's children again. As the council chamber erupted into activity, Sarah Chen was already running calculations in her head. The aliens thought humanity moved too fast, innovated too quickly. They were about to learn that they hadn't seen anything yet. In near-Earth orbit, the alien ships waited, their crystalline surfaces reflecting sunlight like ancient, patient predators. They had given humanity 30 days to submit. Humanity had other plans. Deep beneath the Atacama Desert, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the holographic display of human consciousness mapped across quantum states. 20 days had passed since the ultimatum, and Project Echo had evolved into something far beyond its original scope. The integration is holding at 93%, she reported, her voice hoarse from too many sleepless nights. The quantum entanglement is stable across all nodes. General Maya Santos nodded, her uniform wrinkled from countless hours in the underground lab. And the consciousness transfer. See for yourself. Sarah gestured to the adjacent chamber, where Captain Maria Rice floated in a suspension pod, her mind linked to the quantum core they'd built around Sarah's modified sensors. On the main screen, Maria's consciousness spread across the quantum network like a living constellation. She wasn't just controlling the system. She was becoming one with it, her thoughts moving at the speed of quantum calculations. I can see everything. Maria's voice echoed through the speakers, filled with wonder. The quantum field, the probability waves, it's beautiful. The breakthrough had come when Sarah realized they were thinking too conventionally. Instead of building better weapons or stronger shields, they needed to change the fundamental way humans interfaced with technology. The quantum sensors she developed to study dark matter could be reversed, allowing human consciousness to expand into quantum states. Show me the test sequence, Maya ordered. Maria's consciousness lit up the quantum field. Complex calculations that would take supercomputers hours to process flowed through her expanded awareness in seconds. She could perceive multiple probability states simultaneously, predict outcomes before they occurred, and react with literally inhuman speed. The real breakthrough was letting go of our traditional computing architecture, Sarah explained, pulling up the technical specifications. We're not just running human consciousness on quantum computers, we're allowing human minds to evolve into quantum states while maintaining their essential humanity. Maya studied the data with intense focus. Can it be weaponized? Sarah grimaced at the blunt question, but nodded. We're already integrating the system into the prototype defensive platforms. Once a human consciousness merges with the quantum network, they can control dozens of platforms simultaneously, predicting and responding to threats across multiple probability states. In English, Doctor. We're turning our defenders into quantum gods, Sarah said simply. They'll be able to see attacks before they happen and respond faster than any conventional system. Maya's expression remained stern, but there was a glimmer of hope in her eyes. How many pilots can we integrate in the remaining time? That's the problem, Sarah admitted. The neural load is intense. Only 1 in 1,000 candidates can handle the transition. We've identified 50 potential pilots worldwide. We can have maybe 30 ready by the deadline. 30 pilots against their entire fleet. Sarah smiled for the first time in days. 30 quantum-enhanced humans who can each control multiple platforms simultaneously. And there's something else. She hesitated, then continued. The system is evolving. Each time Maria interfaces with the quantum field, the integration becomes stronger. The human consciousness appears to be adapting to its expanded state, developing capabilities we hadn't predicted. In the testing chamber, Maria's quantum signature pulsed with increasing complexity. "They're coming," she announced suddenly, her voice distant. 3 scout ships just emerged from FTL at the edge of the system. Maya rushed to the conventional sensors, but they showed nothing. 5 minutes later, alarms blared as the scouts appeared exactly where Maria had predicted. "How?" Maya demanded. "The quantum field exists outside normal space-time," Sarah explained, excitement breaking through her exhaustion. "When our pilots are integrated, they can perceive events slightly ahead of their occurrence. We've given them limited precognition." Maya stared at the quantum display where Maria's consciousness continued to expand and evolve. "The aliens said we advanced too quickly, that we're too dangerous," she mused. Maybe they were right. Sarah shook her head. "They're right that we're dangerous, but they're wrong about why. Our speed isn't our greatest strength. It's our adaptability. While they've stagnated in their crystal towers, we've been forged in the crucible of survival, constantly evolving, constantly changing. And now we're evolving again," Maya said softly. "Exactly. They wanted us to stop advancing." Sarah gestured to the quantum display where Maria's consciousness danced through probability states. "Instead, we're about to take the next step in human evolution." In the test chamber, Maria's voice came through again, filled with a strange harmony as her mind resonated with the quantum field. "More ships approaching. The main fleet is moving." She paused, her quantum signature pulsing. "They know something's changed. They're afraid." Maya straightened her uniform. "Good. Send word to all facilities. Accelerate the integration protocols. Priority 1 is getting our quantum pilots ready." She turned to Sarah. "Doctor, I hope you understand what you've created here." Sarah watched as Maria's consciousness continued to evolve, pushing the boundaries of what they'd thought possible. "I do," she said quietly. "We're not just fighting for our independence anymore. We're fighting for humanity's right to determine its own evolution." Above them, in the cold vacuum of space, the alien fleet began to move, their crystalline ships glinting in the starlight. They had come to force humanity back into what they considered its proper place. They were about to discover that humanity had outgrown any cage they tried to build. 28 days after the ultimatum, Captain Maria Rice existed in multiple states simultaneously. Her physical body remained in the suspension pod beneath the Atacama Desert, but her consciousness spanned the quantum network, merged with 20 defense platforms scattered throughout the solar system. Through the quantum field, she could perceive the approaching alien fleet as patterns of probability and potential. "They're moving faster than expected," she reported, her voice resonating through the command center speakers. "Their formation suggests they're preparing for immediate engagement rather than waiting for the deadline." General Maya Santos studied the tactical display where conventional sensors were only now beginning to detect what Maria had seen minutes ago. "How many ships?" 513, Maria responded instantly. "They're deploying in a tesseract pattern, 4-dimensional combat formation. But," she paused, her quantum signature pulsing with what might have been amusement, "they don't realize we can see in 4 dimensions now." Dr. Sarah Chen monitored Maria's neural patterns closely. The integration between human consciousness and quantum systems had progressed far beyond their initial projections. Each of the 30 quantum pilots had developed their own unique ways of perceiving and manipulating the quantum field. "All pilots, report status," Maya commanded. One by one, the voices of the quantum pilots echoed through the command center, each managing multiple defense platforms across the solar system. They were humanity's last line of defense, 30 evolved minds standing against an alien armada. The crystalline command ship of the alien fleet transmitted suddenly, the being of light appearing in their holographic display. "Your time expires in 48 hours, it announced. "We detect your attempts at technological advancement. This is your final opportunity to submit willingly." Maya stepped forward, her voice firm. "This is General Santos of Earth's Defense Force. We reject your ultimatum. Leave our system or face the consequences. You cannot hope to resist. Our civilization has ruled the galaxy for millions of years. Your species is barely out of its cradle. Maybe that's your weakness, Sarah spoke up, understanding flowing through her. You've forgotten what it's like to face real challenges, to adapt, to evolve. The alien's crystalline form shifted in what might have been confusion. We detect only 30 defensive platforms. Your resistance is futile. Maria's laugh echoed through the quantum field. You're still thinking in conventional terms. Allow us to demonstrate something new. Without warning, Maria's consciousness rippled through the quantum network. The defense platforms under her control began to move in ways that should have been impossible, existing in multiple probability states simultaneously. The alien sensors would see them in one position, but by the time they registered the location, the platforms would have already shifted to another quantum state. All pilots, Maya ordered, initiate protocol ascension. The quantum field lit up as 30 evolved human minds unleashed their full potential. The defense platforms moved in perfect synchronization, their actions guided by pilots who could see minutes into probable futures and react accordingly. The alien fleet opened fire, their energy weapons lancing through space, but hitting nothing. The human platforms shifted through quantum states faster than the aliens could track, each pilot predicting attacks before they were launched and responding with perfect precision. Impossible, the alien commander declared. Your technology cannot. This isn't about technology, Sarah interrupted. This is about evolution. You gave us an ultimatum. Submit or be destroyed. Instead, we chose to become something new. The defense platforms began their counterattack. Weapons designed by quantum-enhanced minds struck at the alien fleet from directions that shouldn't have existed, hitting them through gaps in four-dimensional space that their ancient systems couldn't detect. Stop this, the alien demanded as the first of their ships began to fall. You cannot comprehend the forces you're wielding. That's where you're wrong. Maria's voice came through, resonating with the power of the quantum field. We comprehend them perfectly. Your mistake was thinking you could force us to stop growing, to stop pushing boundaries. She paused as her platforms danced through probability space, systematically dismantling the alien formation. Humanity doesn't work that way. We don't submit. We don't stagnate. We evolve. The alien fleet's perfect formation began to crumble as they faced something beyond their experience. Their weapons were advanced, their technology refined over millions of years, but they were fighting an enemy that could see their attacks before they launched them, that could exist in multiple states simultaneously, that had transcended the traditional limits of space and time. They were fighting humanity's next evolutionary step. Fall back, the alien commander ordered, real fear entering its voice for the first time. All ships, emergency withdrawal. But it was too late. The quantum pilots had already predicted this outcome, had positioned their platforms to cut off the fleet's retreat. Humanity's defenders moved like a singular organism, 30 transcendent minds working in perfect harmony through the quantum field. Sarah watched the tactical display with a mixture of awe and trepidation. They had succeeded beyond their wildest expectations, but at what cost? The quantum pilots were still evolving, still pushing the boundaries of what was possible. How long before they transcended their humanity entirely? As if reading her thoughts, Maria's voice came through the quantum field, somehow still warmly human despite its newfound power. Don't worry, Sarah. We haven't lost ourselves. We've just grown into something more, exactly what humanity has always done when faced with challenges. Above them, the battle continued as humanity's quantum-enhanced defenders demonstrated exactly why the aliens had been right to fear their potential and wrong to try to stop it. The quantum field rippled with distortions as reinforcements arrived from the depths of space. The consensus of elder races had called in their entire defensive fleet, over 2,000 ships converging on the Sol system. In the command center beneath the Atacama Desert, General Maya Santos watched the tactical displays with grim determination. They're not retreating, she observed. They're committing everything they have. Dr. Sarah Chen nodded, her eyes fixed on the quantum readings. Because they've realized what's at stake. This isn't just about Earth anymore. It's about the balance of power in the galaxy. Through the quantum network, Captain Maria Reyes and the other pilots perceived the incoming fleet as waves of probability, each ship trailing possible futures like ghostly afterimages. They've adapted their tactics, Maria reported. They're using their own version of quantum manipulation, ancient technology they haven't needed in millions of years. The alien commander's transmission cut through all channels, its crystalline form now pulsing with barely contained energy. You leave us no choice. Your species' unchecked evolution threatens the stability of the galaxy itself. We cannot allow this to continue. The massive alien fleet moved into an elaborate formation, their ships linking energy fields to create a vast, multi-dimensional web. The technology was beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. The accumulated knowledge of millions of years of galactic civilization brought to bear against a single young species. All pilots, report status, Maya commanded. One by one, the quantum pilots confirmed their readiness. In the 30 days since first contact, they had evolved far beyond their original parameters. Each pilot had developed unique abilities in the quantum field, their consciousness expanding in ways that even Sarah's instruments struggled to measure. What we're seeing, Sarah explained, studying the alien formation, is the difference between inherited knowledge and earned innovation. They're using technology they developed eons ago. We're creating new solutions in real time. As if to prove her point, Maria's consciousness surged through the quantum network. They think they understand quantum manipulation because they invented it. Her voice resonated with newfound power. But we're not just using it, we're becoming it. The alien fleet launched their attack, thousands of energy beams converging from multiple dimensions. But humanity's defenders were ready. The quantum pilots moved their platforms through probability space, existing in multiple states simultaneously, making themselves virtually impossible to target. Now, Maya ordered, show them what humanity can do. The counterattack was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. 30 quantum-enhanced minds working in perfect harmony, each controlling multiple platforms, each seeing minutes into probable futures. They struck at the alien fleet from angles that shouldn't have existed, their weapons guided by consciousness that straddled the boundary between human and transcendent. Impossible, the alien commander declared as ship after ship fell to the human assault. Your species cannot have mastered dimensional warfare in mere days. You still don't understand, Sarah responded. We haven't mastered it. We're inventing new forms of it as we fight. Every engagement teaches us more, helps us evolve further. The battle raged across the solar system, reality itself seeming to warp as two fundamentally different approaches to quantum warfare clashed. The aliens fought with perfect precision, millennia of accumulated knowledge guiding their every move, but humanity's defenders fought with creativity, innovation, and an ability to adapt that left their ancient opponents reeling. Then Maria made a discovery that changed everything. The quantum field, her voice echoed through the command center, filled with sudden understanding. It's not just a tool or a medium. It's alive, conscious. The aliens didn't invent quantum manipulation. They found it, used it, but never truly understood it. Sarah's instruments lit up as the quantum pilots began to resonate with something vast and ancient. The quantum field itself seemed to respond to their presence, recognizing in these evolved human minds a kindred spirit of growth and change. Their right to fear us, Maria continued, her consciousness expanding even further. Not because we're dangerous, but because we represent something they've forgotten. The joy of discovery, the thrill of pushing boundaries, the fundamental drive to evolve and grow. The alien commander must have sensed the shift. Stop, it demanded. You cannot comprehend the forces you're wielding. But it was too late. Humanity's quantum pilots had already begun to communicate with the quantum field itself, their evolved consciousness bridging a gap that the elder races had never even perceived. The defense platforms moved with impossible grace, guided not just by human minds, but by their connection to the very fabric of reality. Last chance, Maya transmitted to the alien fleet. Withdraw now. You cannot be trusted with this power. The alien commander insisted. Your species is too young, too unpredictable. That's exactly why we can be trusted, Sarah countered. Because we understand what it means to be young, to make mistakes, to learn and grow. We haven't forgotten our own evolution. The battle reached its crescendo as the alien fleet made one final desperate push. But they were no longer fighting just 30 human pilots. They were fighting against the quantum field itself, awakened and responsive to minds that approached it not as a tool to be used, but as a partner in evolution. The outcome was no longer in doubt. The only question was whether the elder races would recognize their defeat in time to prevent their complete destruction. The crystalline ships of the elder races hung motionless in space, their once perfect formation shattered. In the quantum field, Captain Maria Reyes could sense the confusion and fear radiating from the alien fleet, not just from their crews, but from their very technology, ancient systems confronting something beyond their experience. They're maintaining battle positions, she reported through the quantum network, but their confidence is gone. They've never failed before, never had to question their superiority. In the command center, Dr. Sarah Chen studied the readings from the quantum field. The patterns were unlike anything they'd seen before, 30 human minds resonating with the fundamental fabric of reality, creating harmonies that her instruments could barely measure. The quantum field is still evolving, she announced, wonder in her voice. The pilots aren't just using it anymore. They're helping it grow, change, become something new, just like it's helping us evolve. The alien commander's transmission cut through their celebrations, its crystalline form flickering with uncertainty. What have you done? The quantum patterns, they're changing across the entire sector. We didn't do anything to the quantum field, Maria responded, her consciousness spanning multiple dimensions. We just showed it respect, treated it as a partner in evolution, rather than a tool to be controlled. General Maya Santos stepped forward, her voice firm but not unkind. Your fleet is surrounded. Your ancient technology, impressive as it is, cannot match our quantum-enhanced defenders. Stand down. For a long moment, the alien commander said nothing. When it spoke again, its tone had changed. In millions of years of ruling the galaxy, we have never encountered anything like this. Your species. It paused, its crystalline form shifting. You are dangerous. Yes, Sarah agreed, but not in the way you feared. We're dangerous to stagnation, to the idea that evolution has an endpoint, to the belief that older always means wiser. Through the quantum field, Maria sensed something new emerging in the alien fleet. Not fear or anger, but curiosity. A forgotten emotion, long buried under millions of years of certainty. The younger races we oversee, the commander said slowly, they'd worship us as gods. They strive to emulate our perfection, never realizing that perfection is another word for stagnation. And now you've encountered a species that doesn't want to emulate you, Maya observed. We want to find our own path. A path that has led you to wake the quantum field itself, the alien mused. To make contact with a consciousness we never even recognized, despite millions of years of quantum manipulation. Sarah stepped closer to the holographic display. It's not too late. Your civilization doesn't have to remain static. You could remember what it means to discover, to grow, to face the unknown with wonder instead of fear. The quantum field rippled with new possibilities as the alien fleet's energy signatures began to change. Maria sensed it first, the ancient ships powering down their weapons, their crews experiencing emotions they hadn't felt in eons. The Council of Elder Races must be convened, the commander announced. The galaxy must know what has happened here, what your species represents. And what do we represent? Maya asked, though they all knew the answer. Hope, the alien replied simply. Hope that evolution never truly ends. That there is always something new to discover, some new height to reach. It paused, its crystalline form seeming to soften. We came to force your species back into its cradle. Instead, you may have awakened our entire civilization from a sleep we didn't know we were in." As the alien fleet began its withdrawal, Maria's consciousness resonated with the quantum field one final time. She sensed infinite possibilities spreading out before them. Humanity and the elder races together, sharing knowledge, growing, evolving. The quantum field itself seemed to pulse with approval, a vast consciousness happy to finally be recognized, eager to explore reality alongside minds that understood the joy of discovery. In the command center, Sarah watched the tactical displays clear of hostile signatures. "What happens now?" she wondered aloud. Now Maya smiled. "We do what humanity has always done. We keep pushing boundaries, keep exploring, keep evolving." She turned to face her team. "But this time, we might help an ancient civilization remember how to do the same." The quantum pilots began powering down their systems, their enhanced minds returning to their physical forms. But they all knew they could never go back to what they had been before. Humanity had taken its next evolutionary step, not alone, but in partnership with the very fabric of reality. Above them, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if the quantum field itself was celebrating. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had proven that the true measure of a civilization was not its age or its accumulated knowledge, but its willingness to grow, to change, to embrace the unknown with open arms and an eager heart. The cosmos, they had discovered, belonged not to those who would control it, but to those who would dance with it, evolve with it, and help it dream new dreams.